This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, welcome to our tax class. This video and all the ones for this that you will see are being recorded during the spring of 2019 semester for the 2018 tax season. However, this video and the rest that you will see are good through at least the 2020 semesters and the 2019 tax season. The only difference will be some of the numbers may be inflated due to inflation, but most of the tax rules will not change. Therefore, I only record new videos every other year. Thus, these 2019 videos will still be good in 2020. First thing with this video is I want to briefly go through the important parts of the syllabus and then go through what I call the welcome document, which will give the overall points for this class on how to successfully succeed. So first thing, let's look at the syllabus. So I'm in our course in IVY Learn. You've already have been here to get to this video. All of my information here is, you can simply just go into the instructor portion, the times when to meet me, if you ever want to, if you wanted to meet via a go-to meeting, if you wanted to simply just have a phone chat, or if you wanted more responsive on email. These are the times when I'm actually in the office. Doesn't mean I'll actually be there the whole time, but those are the best times to reach me. We go back to the syllabus. You can read through all of this. The next thing that I want to hit is this required text materials. In this class, yes, you do need the book. It is the brand new. It was just published in December of 2018. So as of the recording of this video, that was less than a month ago. Make sure it's the 2019 text. It has a kind of a navy, perhaps darker blue top side, and it says 2019 edition. It's the fundamentals of taxation. The other piece that I'm going to be referring to later on in the semester, and even as early as next week, is this link right here. And this is a free link. And we'll come back to that next week when we look at week 2. This is a very good supplemental, goes through lots of question and answers to make sure you really understand the topic that's being covered. And then this is also what some of our final exam is going to be about, passing these, what's called a VITA test. So more on that to come towards the end of the semester. This link here will take you to our book site, and you'll want to use this because most of our textbooks will not come with the CD version anymore of the Tax Act program. Therefore, what you'll need to do is go to this link. This is our class session, and there's not a whole lot you're going to need to do from this link because we won't be using Connect like you might in some other classes. But once you're in this link, and I'll get into it from the instructor side in week 3, just to make sure we know how to download the tax software, because we will be using that on a weekly basis. All right, let's go back now to the syllabus. The last piece that I'm going to look at that's basically new and different for our class, all the rest of this is pretty boilerplate. Well, just real quick here, the last days to drop the class for a full refund and it not show up on your transcript is the 26th of January for the spring 2019 semester. Okay. The assignments, tax returns, and discussion boards. But just real quickly, these due dates and makeup policy, basically, if you let me know, and we'll go through this in the welcome document, by a certain date, I'm much more flexible with working with you. But if you only let me know the day of the assignment is due, or even the day before, I'm very strict on no makeup policy at that point. You have to be able to work ahead in order to get to that point with me that I will allow any extensions. Okay, for the assignments, all of your assignments, whether you're in the in-class session or the online session, everything will be found in the modules, and everything will be submitted here in the IVY Learn or Canvas structure. We will have assignments due every week. Some of them will come from the textbook and some will be my own made up. And then we will generally have either a discussion board or a tax return due each week as well. Notice here in the highlighted, a very key item that so many students who want an A or even a B, A or B students will take advantage of this. If you submit me your homework by Monday morning at 8 a.m. by email, so you attach it, then I will review your homework, mark any items that are wrong, and if you show me how you answered it by writing out how you solved it, I will show you where in your solving you were incorrect. Then I will email it back to you, usually within 24 hours, especially if you get it to me on Monday morning. I'll get it back to you by that Monday afternoon. So therefore, you have time to submit to me by our normal due date, which for this class will be every Tuesday by the end of the day, Eastern Standard Time, 11:59. So I make my due dates different than most instructors. Due dates will typically be on Tuesdays, except for discussion boards and one other little assignment that we'll see in the welcome document. The discussion boards, so everybody has time to reply. Your initial posts are due by by Saturday night of each week. Your replies, you're required to do 2 replies. You can do more for extra credit, but at least 2 will be due by that Tuesday, the normal due date. So your original post to my discussion board scenarios are due by Saturday of each week, if we have one. We don't have very many discussion boards in this class because many students, at least half, usually say that's the worst part of any class that they take. So I cut those down to no more than, I think, 4 or at the very most 5 discussion boards the entire semester, where we will do many more tax returns. The exams, there's only 2 exams. They are both proctored, the midterm and the final, meaning you either take those at your local Ivy Tech campus. You will need to make an appointment. You have to make an appointment in plenty of notice, because appointments do get taken up pretty fast. If you don't get an appointment, there really is no excuse left. You will just get a 0 for the exam, which will lower your grade by at least 1 grade level. Your only other option would be to contact me to set up a ProctorU exam, and I don't do that unless I am contacted. But if you do contact me and give me plenty of notice, I will set up a ProctorU so you can do it at home if need be. However, ProctorU does cost, and if you do it within like 24 to 72 hours of making your appointment, they do even charge you a premium for that. Each week I will have archived lectures just like this, where I will go through the material so you're not out there just struggling by yourself. I will go through and kind of go through the high points and some scenarios, some questions, and show how the answers are arrived at. So then, therefore, you should be a lot more advanced or farther along in your homework. Again, I'll state this, that lectures are not recorded every semester. It takes a lot of time to produce these, to download them, put them into my YouTube channel, and then to display them for you to find. So therefore, I do these every other year. However, my notes, my weekly lecture notes, are updated every year. So if there's ever a discrepancy, always rely on my notes. The notes are the most up-to-date. The only required lecture for online students is week 2, and then I will have a quiz over my week 2 lecture. But it's hardly a quiz. It's a quiz in that you can look at all of the questions ahead of time, write them down or whatever you want to do, and then answer them as I go through the lecture. It's just a verification that yes, you did watch at least week 2. Most students who do watch week 2 and who want an A or B in the class continue, from just the reports that I get, continue to watch the lectures for the rest of the semester. The last thing to note on our syllabus is the VITA program. The big purpose of this class, yes, is to prepare you to do tax returns, and then the VITA program actually gives you that chance to actually prepare real tax returns from the real public. I host a site at the Muncie campus every year, and I've done it for the past 10 years. I usually need around 4 to 5 students to make the site successful. We're usually open 2 days a week, one day where we actually have our or maybe our handicap or our older citizens of the community come, where they only have to make one trip, and we do the tax return right there as they're there. The other day is what I call our drop-off day, where students or staff or those who maybe don't have the time to wait an hour or so to have their tax return done, they drop off their information. We prepare it, and then they come back at a later date, and I go through it with them, the tax return. So it's a little bit less stressful for you, the student, as you can prepare the tax return without somebody basically looking over your shoulder. But again, we do allow people, the older, usually more elderly people, to stay on one of the days of the week, so they don't have to get back out. To do the VITA program, you do have to pass at least the basic exam. The basic exam is quite difficult. It's not something you can just blow through. And then what I have my VITA students do is also pass the advanced exam. And the advanced just gets into some more details. I don't know that it's all that harder. It is a little bit, just because it's more in depth, but the basic is almost as hard as the advanced. Okay, the last thing that I want to do is go through the welcome document. I'm going to pull that up here. This, I'll show you where you find it. Very simple to find. In the modules, come down here to the module 1 in the welcome document, click on it, and you'll see a link here. It's actually part of one of the assignments. But just before we get into that, I wanted to show you 3 key things in the resources that will help you this semester. This, if you didn't go back to the syllabus, you can easily get to our class inside the McGraw-Hill if you wanted to. If you wanted, there's different things that students can access through here. Feel free to do that. The other 2 things, one is you can actually download the tax software right here. I have it out here for you, so you don't even have to go into the Connect website. Just click here and you can follow these simple instructions. The final thing is, and I don't have these updated yet, that's why it's showing not posted, not published, but by the time this class is published, I will have these up to date. These help spiral pages. I'm not going to open it because these are old. These are 2017 information. But basically what this is a PDF file, about 20 pages or so, and it's not a lot of detailed reading. It's kind of high points of some of the very common scenarios, like who can you claim as a dependent? What are the scenarios that would go along with that? What is the standard deduction amounts? And if you just wanted some real quick pointers, this is where you would want to go, instead of maybe trying to dig through the book again and find it, the information you were looking for. This will be a big help. Okay, the last thing that I wanted to go through here is just a brief, I think I have 10 little points here of how to really succeed in this class. This, as I said, this is an assignment because I think it's so important that you read through this. It's called my welcome document assignment. And this, like the discussion boards, is the only thing that is actually due on a Saturday this first week, the 19th. Now, and in other semesters, it will be, the dates obviously will be a little different. Look to your updated welcome document. However, the main answers will be very similar to what we'll see here today. So there are 5 answers. you will simply copy and paste them into the IVY Learn. So let's say that it's my hope that you will get a lot. Let's say that was the answer. So I would copy and paste that. I would go into the module 1, go into the welcome document. And then as the student, you'll have a place to actually submit. Since I'm the instructor, I don't have that. But you can actually just sit here and copy and paste into the text if you want. Or you can copy and paste into a Word document and then upload your Word document. Either one is fine. So either way, texting or uploading your file from a Word document will work. So all of your homework assignments are within IVY Learn and you can find these different ways. You can go through the syllabus as one way. Click on the syllabus, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see a course summary of all of the assignments and the due dates. The other option is to go through the calendar from your class and pull that up. Actually, I'm not. I'll have that up if I. Oh, I remember. It's not an individual class. It's actually in your courses, or down here, right below the courses, the calendar. And what this is going to do is summarize all of your classes. So it will have more than just this one. So if I put up my last year's financial accounting and last year's payroll and last year's financial accounting, I'm just going to click on 3 of them. And then I'm going to go back to November. And here they pop up. So you can see how all of the different items that were due for some of my classes, when they were, and you'll have this. You always just go to your calendar. The other good thing about IVY Learn is in the notifications. You can make it so IVY Learn will email you or maybe even text you when you have things due, if you have something coming up. Simply go into your settings, into the notifications. Here's the settings. And I will make sure I send out some instructions on that. I don't have it here in front of me, the notifications, but it's not hard to do. I've done it. It's just escaping me for the minute. All right, so let's go back to my welcome document. Again, if you do just a little bit of research, you'll be able to find it. The notifications in IVY Learn, just search for that, and you can set up in very detailed notifications. All right, so homework. Always due Tuesday evening at 11:59 Eastern. So if you're up in the Chicago or Evansville area, you will need to make that adjustment because you are on Central Time. Typically, our assignments will come from the book, multiple choice, and then a couple problems, and then finally it will end with some instructor questions that I've made up that are similar to what my exam questions will look like. So you'll have an idea of how the exam questions will read, just from my verbiage compared to how the book may relate. Tax returns, when I do ask for those to actually be submitted, because there's going to be 2 different ways that you submit tax homework. One, I will have questions for you to answer in a multiple choice or fill in the blank, and you will actually type in your answer from the tax software, that you have provided, that you have prepared. And I may actually have you submit your Tax Act file. And when I do that, that actually means to submit to me your actual file that I could open up in my program, not the PDF file. We will go through that more in week 3 when we start doing tax returns. Okay, again, here's the 2 types of assignments that will be due every week: the multiple choice and the fill in the blank into the chapter questions, and then the either discussion board or tax returns, where on the tax returns, sometimes you'll actually submit your return and sometimes you will answer questions in a homework format. So our first actual Chapter 1 assignments will be due on the 22nd of January, which is a week following the start of the semester. The only exceptions were the original discussion board and this welcome document. The original discussion board are due every Saturday, and your replies due by Tuesday, the normal due date. Late work, basically, in a nutshell, I do not accept late work. So it's pointless to even try unless you have worked ahead of time and you have let me know that something has unexpectedly come up. When I mean unexpectedly, it doesn't mean you have a vacation scheduled and you are going to be gone week 9, then you work ahead and you get week 9 done ahead of time. I don't allow exceptions for vacations. So for the discussion boards, I give you a little bit of a scenario on what to expect for that. You can read through these. The biggest thing here is the extra credit option. If you respond back and forth with a classmate or two, every time that you have a decent size reply, more than just like 1 or 2 or 3 words, I begin to give extra credit. If you have more than just the basic 2 or 3 replies, then you begin to earn a point extra credit for every 1 extra, up to 5 points a week. So that could be quite a bit of extra credit. Homework. The biggest thing on this one is to send me your homework for review. This is a tough class, and I want you to get as much out of it as you can. So if you email me by Monday morning each week at 8 a.m., I would get in the habit of emailing me way before Monday morning. Email me like Thursday or Wednesday, and you'll get it back a lot faster. Because if everybody begins to send me their stuff Sunday night, then I might get bogged down and you may not get it till Tuesday. But if you are one of those that works way ahead of time, you're going to be one of my favorite students, and I will be able to work with you a lot faster. So send me your homework as soon as you get it done. I will review it, mark everything that's wrong, and send it back to you. Then you can go in to iViewILearn and actually submit the actual assignment. Now, how I want you to submit your reviews would be very simple. If the multiple choice starts on number 18, you would click 18 and then A. And then if there was some work to do along with it and you said A because it was 6,500 minus 4,500, and you chose the answer A because it was 2,000, and you are showing me why you got 2,000, and let's say the answer was really 3,000 and it was because you subtracted too much, I would mark A was incorrect, and I would mark that the 4,500 was the other piece that was incorrect. So always go into our homework assignments ahead of time. Note which multiple choice items that I'm requiring. Some weeks I will say omit these couple problems, and then go through and see which problems I'm actually requiring each week. So I'll have 2 or 3 from the textbook after the multiple choice ones. And then the final piece is look to see what my instructor questions are and how I want those answered, and submit me those. Submit everything all in one email. So late work, if I'm notified by the end of the weekend of why you may not be able to get something in, I may be able to work with you on that. I always check my email regularly, so email me if I'm not available at the office during my office hours. And one thing that I always stress is if my deadline for you is Tuesday night, make your deadline Saturday night. That's when you need to have your everything submitted. You need to already have submitted me your review for homework, and then you've actually submitted your actual homework in iViewILearn, your final submission, by Saturday night. Then if something came up Saturday and you actually couldn't get it done, well, then you have an automatic 2 to 3 day extension that you don't even have to ask me for. because the due date is actually Tuesday. But if your due date is Saturday, it works out so much better for you. Okay. This is a reminder, third reminder of the recorded lectures not being recorded every semester, but my notes are updated every semester. Tax returns, our final couple items. Tax returns, we'll have two types of tax returns throughout the semester. Shoebox returns are where the book goes through step by step how to prepare the software and actually tells you what the answers are, what your form should look like. However, the book does have multiple errors, and I take pride and I work through way ahead of time every tax return, and I put within each module if there are any errors in the shoebox returns. So if it says your refund should be 1,000, but it's really only 900, I will notate that. And then your end of chapter returns, these are either ones that I've made up or ones from the book. And then I will prepare a quiz for you to answer some of the questions, where one of the answers may be, what is line 1 of the 1040? And then you will type in your answer. The final two things, the midterm final, these are both proctored. So you will need to contact your local Ivy Tech campus several weeks ahead of time. By the first couple of weeks of the class, I will have sent out the proctor forms once I know who is set in the class and will stay. Once those proctor forms are sent, I will make a note to everybody, an announcement, and then I would actually schedule at that point my appointment. So I got the appointment that I want, and I don't have to take the last available, or if there's none available. The final piece, the VITA exams, we'll come back to this much later in the semester, but this is the link that I had given to you before in the syllabus. This gets you to our study pieces for the VITA exam and extra preparation just for you to feel comfortable to make sure you understand the material, extra problems to work through. All right, that will do it for this introductory video. I would now highly recommend that you go on and look through read through chapter 1 and then watch our next video covering the chapter 1 material.